I can't tell how I truly feel.
You're not ready to decide that yet. The part of you who despises non-sorcerers, and the part of you who rejects that, are both just possibilities that you're considering right now.
Jujutsu Kaisen has villains with grand philosophies. Curses born from humanity's collective fears. Sorcerers twisted by power. But Suguru Geto's descent into darkness starts somewhere most people don't expect. It starts with taste. Every time Geto uses his technique, he has to eat a cursed spirit. Absorb it as a black orb, swallow it down. He described the taste exactly once, a rag used to wipe up vomit and shit. Now, think about the logistics. It's not a metaphor. He literally puts that filth in his mouth, forces it down his throat, and keeps it there. Every day, every mission, every curse you exercise, you have to put inside your body. Feel it sliding down your throat. That wrongness, that corruption, that filth. And you do this to protect people, to save a world that doesn't even know curses exist. You become a walking garbage disposal for humanity's negativity. How long before the nausea stops being just physical? Before everything fell apart, Geto believed in something beautiful, that the strong exist to protect the weak, that sorcerers, with all their power, had a responsibility, a duty. He genuinely thought his suffering had meaning. He and Gojo were called the strongest, two special grade sorcerers while still students, best friends, partners. They could handle anything as long as they had each other. But there was always a difference between them. Gojo thought protecting non-sorcerers was a hassle, an obligation without meaning. Geto thought it was the entire point, that power without purpose was empty. So Geto swallowed, and swallowed, and swallowed, built an arsenal of over 6,000 cursed spirits, each one tasting like decay, like wrongness, like poison going down. But it was worth it, because he was helping, because he was protecting the innocent, because his pain had purpose. Then they were assigned to protect Riko Amanai, the star plasma vessel, a girl who was supposed to merge with Master Tengen to maintain the barriers protecting Japan. Riko didn't want to die. She was just a kid, and Geto and Gojo promised her they'd protect her, give her a few more days to just be a normal girl before the merger. They almost succeeded. Then Toji Fushiguro put a bullet through her brain. The girl they swore to protect, dead. Geto failed. It broke something in him. But the failure wasn't what broke Geto. He could handle losing. What he couldn't handle was the applause, laughter, celebration. The people Geto had been poisoning himself to protect were cheering for her death. The star religious group saw Riko as an abomination, her death as divine intervention. They clapped. They smiled. That sound never left him. It played on repeat in his mind every time he swallowed another curse, every time he tasted that vomit rag flavor, every time he sacrificed a piece of himself. He was cleaning up their mess, consuming the negativity they created, and they were applauding death. This is where empathy breaks, not with a dramatic revelation, with a sound, with the realization that the people you're dying for would laugh at your corpse. It is a brutal contrast, and it was exactly this scene that made a subscriber comment, "Analyze Geto's fall, please." We listened. If you value this kind of deep dive content, leave a like, not as empty applause, but as a signal to YouTube that this story needs to be told. And of course, comment on which tragedy we should dissect next. After Riko, Geto started to unravel. He kept doing missions, kept consuming curses, but the cycle became unbearable. Non-sorcerers create curses through their negative emotions. Sorcerers exercise those curses. Non-sorcerers create more curses. An endless loop, a spiral with no exit. And Geto was stuck in the center of it. Every curse he swallowed was proof that nothing was changing, that he could save 1,000 people today, and tomorrow they'd generate 1,000 more curses through fear, hatred, ignorance. He was treating symptoms, mopping up water while the pipes burst. Then he found the village. 2 young girls with cursed techniques, locked in a cage like animals, tortured, blamed for the curses their village generated. Because non-sorcerers always need someone to punish for problems they created. And something in Geto snapped. He killed them, all of them. 112 people. Didn't hesitate, didn't feel guilt, because they weren't people anymore. Not in his mind. They were monkeys, parasites, animals that created suffering and blamed the victims. People call this genocide, evil, madness. And it is. But here's what makes Geto terrifying. He doesn't see it that way. To him, non-sorcerers are the disease. Cursed spirits are the symptom. And you can't cure a disease by treating symptoms forever. You have to eliminate the source. But watch how he treats other sorcerers, his followers, his family. He's kind, patient, protective. He genuinely cares about them. This isn't a man who hates life. This is a man who loves his people so much that he's willing to damn himself to save them. This is what's called an inverted messiah complex. He doesn't want to be humanity's savior. He wants to be the shepherd for a flock he believes is drowning in a sea of monkeys. He even took over the Star Religious Group, the same organization that cheered for Riko's death, killed their leader in front of everyone and asked if anyone had objections, became the head of the group that destroyed his faith in humanity. There's a poetry to that, a revenge that's almost beautiful in its cruelty. December 24th, Geto declares war, releases over 2,000 curses on Shinjuku and Kyoto simultaneously, calls it the Night Parade of 100 Demons, forces Jujutsu Society to split their forces, but the real attack is in Tokyo, against Jujutsu High. The carnage in Shinjuku is just a distraction to draw Gojo away. Geto's true goal is Yuta Okotsu. He needs to kill him and absorb Rika, the Queen of Curses. He believes that with her power, he can finally reshape the world, and he loses. Yuta, a student with the Queen of Curses Rika, defeats him, tears through 4,000 of his cursed spirits with one attack. Geto lies there, defeated, bleeding out, his right arm severed. And who shows up? Gojo, his best friend, the person he loved most, the strongest, the one who took a different path. Their last conversation isn't shown. We don't hear what they say to each other, but we know how it ends. Gojo asks Geto if he has any last words, and Geto, bleeding to death, his dream shattered, his revolution failed, smiles, and says the same thing he always said, the truth he never compromised on even once. I hate monkeys. No apology, no regret, no, maybe I was wrong, just reaffirmation. Even facing death, even in front of his best friend, he doesn't betray himself. There's something almost admirable about that level of conviction. He chose his path, walked it to the end, died exactly as he lived, consistent, uncompromising, wrong, but honest about it. This is what makes Geto different from other villains. He's not insane. He's not power hungry. He's not cruel for cruelty's sake. He's a man who swallowed poison every day to save people. And when those people applauded the death of an innocent girl, when they caged and tortured sorcerer children, when they proved over and over that they'd never stop creating the curses he had to consume, he stopped seeing them as worth saving. Geto's story is about what happens when your sacrifice isn't reciprocated, when the people you're dying for don't even know you exist, when your suffering becomes routine, expected, endless. He consumed 6,461 cursed spirits over his lifetime, each one tasting like vomit, each one a reminder that non-sorcerers generate more curses than sorcerers can ever exercise. It's a textbook case of moral injury. It's not just trauma, it's what happens when the job doesn't just hurt your body, it violates your soul. When the very people you swore to protect become the reason you can't sleep at night. When you're forced to do something that contradicts who you are. When the world demands you sacrifice yourself for people who'd never do the same for you. Soldiers get this. Anyone in a helping profession who's been ground down by an ungrateful system gets this. And Geto's solution was radical, genocidal, unforgivable, but it came from a real place, from genuine suffering, from years of swallowing disgust until the disgust swallowed him back. His tragedy is that he loved sorcerers too much, couldn't bear watching them suffer anymore, couldn't stomach the thought of another Haibara dying, another Riko being murdered, another generation of sorcerer children being caged and blamed for problems they didn't create. So he decided to burn it all down, remove the source, solve the problem permanently. And even in death, his body becomes a weapon. Kenjaku takes it over, uses his technique, continues a version of his war. Maybe that's fitting. Geto spent his life being used by Jujutsu Society, used by non-sorcerers who never knew his name, used by a system that demanded everything and gave nothing back. Why should death be any different? Suguru Geto swallowed humanity's filth for years, became a garbage disposal for their negativity, and when he finally couldn't swallow anymore, when the nausea became unbearable, he made a choice, not to stop consuming, but to stop protecting the people who created what he had to consume. He became a villain because he cared too much, for too long, about people who never deserved it. And sometimes, that's the most dangerous kind of villain, the one who makes you wonder, if you swallowed poison every day, how long before you'd stop? This man tasted vomit and decided the world deserves to choke on it too. But, ironically, the Jujutsu world rejected Geto's idea of only granting life to those who can control their own cursed energy. Now, the same hands that harbored these ambitions will create a world of curses.